I guess, Dave, we can start.
Yeah, I think we have reached some a reasonable number of participants. So thank you everyone. Thank you all the jury members, and thank you all the participants for joining this meeting. You're almost welcome. So it is my immense pleasure to notice that KFCRI has reached to the final stage, and we have conducted this first ever online ADR competition, essay competition, and we are gathered here for result declaration ceremony. So a few words about the competition. We have received almost 320 plus participants globally. It is definite glory to say that it is our first ever competition, first ever international competition in which we received diversified participants globally. So a few more favors to ask for the smooth functioning of this meeting. I would request all the participants to restrict from using the chat box, and I would like to call Mr. Mr. Shwetan, who is one of the managing committee member of the KFCRI, to speak about few words.
Thank you, Mr. Shanmugadev. So I first of all welcome all the honorable jury members and the participants and fellow KFCRI members. So this is actually a very grand occasion in which we are all concluded. We actually wanted to have this in a physical nature, or at least in a matter of grandeur, but I think the current scenario in the world right now, this online meeting itself is in a kind of grandeur. So thank you everyone for first attending this occasion. So before we start, for people who are, or participants who are unaware of what KFCRI is, a brief introduction on the institution itself. KOVISE Foundation Conflict Resolution International is based out of Chennai, India. It functions in majorly two ways. One is that it is an accreditation body. So it provides various levels of accreditation in the field of ADR, such as arbitration, mediation, conciliation, negotiation, and even how to be a tribunal secretary. Apart from this, KFCRI also functions in a way of an ADR institution, meaning KFCRI has its own various ADR rules in which there are clauses which can be incorporated into various contracts. And if those contracts are being implemented, if there's any dispute arising out of such contracts, the dispute will be adjudicated by the accepted dispute resolution within our body. So this is a brief introduction on to what KFCRI is. I welcome you all once again and hand it over back to Dave.
Thank you, Mr. Shwetan. Thank you for your few words. I think that's a good introduction about our institution, KOVISE Foundation Conflict Resolution International. Now I have another management committee member, Mr. Shahrukh Kumar, to give a few words about KFCRI and its events.
Thank you, Mr. Dev. So first of all, a very warm welcome to all the honorable jury members, the members of KFCRI, and the participants of the first KFCRI online ADR essay competition. So before moving on into my introduction, I would like to express a few words about this essay competition. So this online essay competition is one of KFCRI's first initiative wherein we wanted to have a competition in which members from all the parts of the world are able to participate, and therefore we had the option of hosting it online. And to be frank, when we initiated the flyer for this essay competition. We had no idea that the whole process of this essay competition is going to be handled by us virtually. And today we have reached a situation wherein we are even declaring the results of the same through online, and all the jury members and the members have joined us. Although we are not able to meet physically, we have this option of engaging through a virtual platform and getting the results declared. So moving on to a brief introduction of continuation to what my colleague Mr. Shwetan had already explained. KFCRI is an ADR institution as well as an accrediting body. So when I say accrediting body, what is this concept of accreditation? I'm sure the honorable jury members and a few of the participants would definitely be aware of what is accreditation in the ADR arena. But for the benefit of students, I would like to explain what is accreditation and how accreditation at KFCRI can be effective in your ADR practice. So accreditation is nothing but the recognition for practice. So since most of us are law students or from the legal fraternity, we know that as advocates, we are recognized or enrolled by the Bar Council to practice in the courts. Similarly, for medical practitioners, there is a medical council, which is a statutory body. But when we come to alternative dispute resolution practitioners, there is no such statutory body or institution which grants a recognition to practitioners. So how do you establish yourself as a practitioner in this field? Accreditations is the key. So when you start your practice in ADR, the recognition you get in the ADR arena is very limited, because owing to the confidentiality in arbitration and other alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, you cannot establish your practice as a whole to the community or to the entire ADR community. So your practice is restricted. Assuming a person who has completed 20 years of his practice in as an arbitrator or a mediator, it is very difficult for him to establish the cases in which he was engaged as an arbitrator or a mediator, because he is bound by the confidentiality. So that is where the accreditation helps him to get his establishment in this arena. So accreditation at KFCRI is, speaking about globally, there are many institutions which grant recognitions to ADR practitioners as arbitrators, mediators, and even in other ADR nuances. Speaking about India, it is there are very few institutions which accredit ADR practitioners, and we are happy to say that KFCRI is one among it. The unique feature of KFCRI's accreditation is that we do not grant accreditations only to arbitrators and mediators. We grant accreditations to practitioners in the ADR field. So when you speaking about arbitration, in arbitration, the arbitrator is not the only stakeholder. We have other stakeholders like the councils, the representatives, the experts, and the tribunal secretary, and finally the arbitral tribunal. So that is a concept where the arbitrators or mediators are accredited as fellows of institutions. But in KFCRI, we grant this recognition to practitioners also. So assuming an advocate who has been a counsel for arbitration cases for a long period of time, KFCRI grants them the accreditation as in the practice of ADR. So we do not have the accreditation of arbitrator. We accredit as associates at arbitration practice, affiliates at arbitration practice, and fellows at arbitration practice. So it is not necessary that to get accredited at KFCRI, you have to be an arbitrator or a mediator. You can even be a practitioner. And apart from arbitration, we also have accreditations at other ADR mechanisms like mediation, conciliation, negotiation, and most importantly, tribunal secretary. So this is where students could be benefited. So unlike the field of litigation, you need not wait for your undergraduation or law degree to get completed to start your practice in ADR. While you are in your law school, you can start off your practice through accreditations. So this accreditation is a four-step process in KFCRI. One is the mandatory training. Second one is the assessment or examination. Third is the membership subscription. And fourth is the continuous association. So wherein, if you want to get accredited at KFCRI, you have to undergo a mandatory training, pass the assessment or examination conducted by KFCRI, and upon payment of membership subscription, you have to be continuously associated with KFCRI. So this is the whole concept of accreditation. So the sole reason for me taking time to explain about this accreditation is, for students, this can be beneficial. So students can start off their practice in arbitration or mediation as an associated arbitration practice or mediation practice by undergoing the mandatory training and getting accredited at KFCRI. So this is all about accreditation. I would not like to take much time. If any of the participants who have joined us today or others who are watching this through the Facebook Live are interested in getting accredited or starting your ADR practice, you can visit our website www.kfcri.org, or you can also view us at other social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And if you are personally interested to get yourself associated with KFCRI, you can write to us at kfcri.adr@gmail.com, or you can even contact us personally. So with that, I think I would like to conclude my part, and I would call upon Ms. Sri Nikhila, who is also a managing committee member of KFCRI, to give a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Shahrukh Kumar. Hello all. It's a great pleasure to see you all through this wonderful platform. First of all, a very pleasant good afternoon to one and all present here. It's again a great pleasure to congratulate all the winners of the competition and also the participants who made this competition a great success. So, in this prestigious moment, I would like to give you all a brief on what is Tribunal Secretary and what scope does the students have by taking up the role of Tribunal Secretary. In this modern era of conflicts where the world is turning its table towards arbitration as an efficient mode of dispute resolution, the merits of arbitration being time and cost effective, the very own merits is under a threat of being knocked down. The main reason for knocking down such merits is that the overwhelming number of cases and also the loads of paperwork the tribunal and the arbitrator must deal with, which is almost impossible to do so all alone. The savior called Tribunal Secretaries comes into scene and helps the tribunal and arbitrators and provides all forms of assistance. So, therefore, Tribunal Secretaries are supporters of the tribunal or the arbitrators and provides all forms of assistance, be it the administrative facets of the case to the substantive facets of the case assigned by them. Speaking about Tribunal Secretaries, the participants may get a question in their mind whether the Indian legislation is supporting the concept of Tribunal Secretary. Indeed, yes. The Section 6 of the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 provides that the tribunal or the arbitrator can take up external administrative assistance, which is impliedly meaning that the arbitrator or the tribunal can appoint tribunal secretaries for assisting them in the administrative aspects of the case. Now, more importantly, identifying the scope of tribunal secretary in the field of for the students, it is pertinent to note that since the topic of the competition is in line with the Arbitration and Arbitration Amendment Act 2019, I hope you all know about the features of the Arbitration Amendment Act 2019. The 8th schedule of the Amendment Act provides certain qualification an individual must possess to qualify himself as an to qualify himself as an arbitrator. So this states the position of the fresh law graduates. Many of you, after completing your undergraduate or postgraduate, might directly wish to participate in the arbitration proceedings as an arbitrator. But this Amendment Act questions the very own inspiration of the fresh law graduates. So from my personal experience, I would all advise you that the perfect way to start your arbitration career is to initially being appointed as a tribunal secretary. As a tribunal secretary myself, I got to know more about the procedures and aspects of the arbitration by being a tribunal secretary. And also, being a tribunal secretary will provide you an additional benefit of knowing about the mentality and attitude of the parties, since you are the one who will be in contact with the parties right from the start of the proceedings till the passing of the award. So, the attitude and mentality of the parties is more important when you become an arbitrator yourself. Additionally, being a tribunal secretary also provides with the benefit of closely observing the arguments of the counsel. which ultimately will help you build up your own art of advocacy and cross-examination. Therefore, I would all prefer and suggest you to take up the role of tribunal secretary initially to know more about tribunal secretary and their role in arbitration. To start up your career of tribunal secretary, KFCRI can facilitate it. KFCRI has its own panel of tribunal secretaries. So, and also KFCRI has its own tailor-made tribunal secretary rules wherein it provides the appointment clauses and procedures for tribunal secretaries. To get inducted in the panel of the KFCRI tribunal secretaries, there are two-step process which you have to undergo. Initially, you have to participate in the associated arbitration practice conducted by KFCRI to know more about arbitration and the procedures involved in arbitration. And the next step is to participate in the training program of the KFCRI's Tribunal Secretary course, in which you will learn more about the skills and the procedures a Tribunal Secretary must know and possess. So, to more about Tribunal Secretary and KFCRI as a service provided in Tribunal Secretary, you can visit us at the official website, which is www.kfcri.org, or you can write us at kfcri.adr@gmail.com. Now I will like to hand over the platform to Mr. Shanmugadev.
Thank you, Ms. Sri Nikhila. It's definite that your words and Mr. Sharukumar words about AAP course and the tribunal secretary, which will ultimately benefit the students, and they will they have developed their interest in ADR as well. So I once again thank all the jury members for their sincere cooperations and for helping us and for supporting us to achieve till finishing this essay competition and acting as a jury members. And as part of it, I would like to introduce all the jury members for the benefit of all the students, for the benefit of all the participants. So, Mr. Shwetan, can you please share the flyer? Thank you, Shwetan. So, our first jury, Ms. Natali Nachar, she's the lecturer in arbitration at Paris and Beirut, and she's a senior partner at Ibrahim Nachar Law Firm and chairman, Arbitration Commission of the ICC Lebanon, and General Secretary, Lebanese Review of Arbitration and International Arbitration Advisory Board, and she's one of the advisory board of KFCRI. I would like to call upon Ms. Natali Nachar to give a few words. Yes, ma'am.
My micro. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yes,
well, yes. Well, thank you very much for your invitation to participate as a jury member in this competition that you have organized at the KFCRI, and I think it's well, it's very encouraging to see that there were so many participants, and that the quality of the essays were really very interesting and really very useful to read. And as a jury member, I learned a lot on the Indian problems you're facing, on the court system, on the regulatory authority of India. And of course, I was very pleased to see that the essays were of a very good quality, many of them. And I'm very happy to have been a member of this jury. It was a very big interest for me and a pleasure, of course. And well, I also would like to salute the initiative of the KFCRI of organizing such a competition, which is, in my point of view, is not very seldom resorted to in before other institutions, which could be considered as innovative in such a way. I mean, in a way. And I would like also to point out this very good. I mean, the benefits of such a initiative, and to, of course, to salute it. So I will. I don't know who is the winner. I will discover the winner with you, And I wish, first of all, I would like to thank all the participants and to congratulate in advance the winner and to wish him the best of luck, or her the best of luck for the future in the field of arbitration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. In another few minutes, we'll come up with the winners list. So we have our next jury. Mr. Anishwarya. Mr. Anishwarya is one of patron member of KFCRI, and is an independent arbitrator, an emergency arbitrator, and a mediator as well. And Mr. Anishwarya, can you hear me? Can you please share a few words to the participants for the benefit of the participants?
Yes, hi. Good afternoon to all. My apologies for not being able to switch my video on. I have another hearing and meeting commencing shortly, so if I switch this on, that gets disconnected. But thank you very much for having me on board. It's been a privilege to be one of the jury members for this competition, and I must echo what Natalie said moments ago. This is truly a wonderful initiative in times like this. It gives an opportunity to students to hone their skills, and I think that's a constantly evolving process. You know, to learn the nitty-gritty in this manner is the best way to do so. And a couple of things that I would just like to add to supplement what Natalie said, that look, today, often at times, especially in India, and I've noticed this also in many Southeast Asian countries, there is a sense of concern that a lot of students or young lawyers face or go through, thinking that, look, I don't believe I'm good enough because I can't speak English as well. I don't believe I'm good enough because I can't write as well. You need to remember one thing: never let anyone ever tell you that you are not good enough. It's extremely important that you understand and appreciate no one is born perfect. Everyone evolves. I mean, not to take any names, but one of India's former Solicitor Generals failed the Solicitor General exam, the Solicitor's exam 5 times and passed on the final attempt. Okay? I mean, I remember that story so well when that was narrated to me about 15 years ago by him. And it's therefore important, some of you may have thought you had great submissions and may be a bit disappointed because, like Natalie, I don't know who has won, but don't be disheartened. Remember this: often at times you may think that, oh, why is this one particular law student or my peer doing so well at everything and I don't seem to be succeeding as well? You need to it simply means put in that much more hard work, put in that much more effort. Because remember something, there is no substitute or shortcut to success. You need to put in the hard work, you need to put in those long hours. And always remember that for those of you who sometimes feel, because I've had many people come up to me and ask me, oh, I don't feel as confident participating because I can't speak or write as well as someone else. Don't let that dissuade you. I know some fantastic lawyers today, both in India and overseas, who can't speak English as well, but they are absolutely brilliant and highly sought after. In fact, in one of my previous firms, before I became a full-time arbitrator and mediator in 2016, and while I was still in the law firm environment prior there too, I remember, one of my colleagues, though he sat in another office, his English was absolutely below par, but his quality of work was so exceptional that you didn't even see that at beyond a certain point. So this point I'm seeking to make by that is, don't be dissuaded. Don't let someone tell you, you speak rubbish, you'll never succeed in the profession. You can't write as well as me or someone else, you'll never succeed. Don't let anyone ever tell you that. But instead, look at that occasion when someone says that to you as an opportunity for you to prove not only to the world, but to prove to yourself that you are good enough and you are deserving. So I think these are important thoughts to keep in mind and consider when taking part in future competitions, that it is a process. I mean, I can tell you personally, I mean, I'm sure Natalie also agrees, all of us have been through this process of rejection in our careers. Everyone does, right from your Gary Bones to whoever. Everyone's been through that process of rejection. It helps you evolve. It helps you understand and appreciate things better. Don't let it bring you down. That is the most important thing. So while some of you may be very excited at hearing the results today, some of you may feel a bit disappointed, but don't be disheartened. Just keep on at it. Take part in many more of these initiatives. And I must say, I must commend KFCRI for all the wonderful work that they've been doing through the lockdown, organizing timely webinars. You know, Natalie has also shared in her webinar some fantastic insights. And just keep on at it. And of course, KFCRI always is very welcoming and open to, helping someone out, guiding them. And my doors are always also open. So if anyone ever needs anything, please feel free to reach out on LinkedIn or, and I'll be more than happy to guide you through and to the best I can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your
My pleasure.
continuous support and encouragement, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Next, we have our next jury, Mr. R. Venkatraman. So he's one of our fellow member of KFCRI, and he's also an arbitrator, consultant, and trainer. And he's in contracts, claims, and commercial management, and is in arbitration, engineering, and in expert services. Mr. Venkatraman, can you please share a few words to the participants?
Okay. I'm able to hear. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir, completely.
Fine. Good morning to all. Thank you for inviting me for this. It was really a pleasure to be a jury, and I really enjoyed reading various writings by the students. And actually, I should thank KFCRI to giving this kind of opportunity for the students to show their skills. So the only one thing I would like to emphasize as a lawyer, yes, there are a lot of skills you need to be good at, like advocacy and all. But one thing I would emphasize is actually your writing skills. Whether you are going to be an arbitrator or a counsel or an expert, the writing is going to be part of your life all through your career. So it's very important, whatever stage we are in, to develop that, to make it ourselves to be good at that at some point of time. So when I was doing my master's in law, there are some of the pearls of wisdom told to me by my professors, my mentors. I just want to share a couple of them. Whenever we want to start writing, there will be like something like how to start, where to start. We call it a writer's mental block. That's quite common. Don't get overwhelmed by that. Start somewhere, keep writing. Don't try to do the final version at the starting itself. As you keep writing, you will improve the skill. You will be able to understand what to write, how to present. This is a skill to be developed, and you have to keep on writing to be good at it. So to all the students, to whomsoever wants to be in this career, in this profession of arbitration, I would recommend, don't miss any opportunity to show your skills in writing. Keep writing, writing, writing. That's one thing. The second thing, I was told there are 3 things needed in writing, that is precise, precise, precise. So with this, how many less number of words you are able to convey that idea, don't waste your words more than that. In fact, I remember when I was listening to an American arbitration forum, that speaker told a good example. Like if you are a sculptor, if you have been given a big piece of a rock, you are going to sculpt it, you're going to bring out the wonderful statue out of that. All what you are doing is you are taking out unwanted stone out of that rock to bring the sculpture. Writing is also exactly the same thing. You have all the ideas in your mind. How you are nicely going to present your final thing, it's like a statue. Keep cutting, making it precise, make sure that the parties understand, whomsoever is your intended user of your piece of writing, they should be able to understand that well. And as Anish said, English may not be our native tongue for many of us. That's not a problem. we can learn that. We don't need a Shakespeare in English or even a Shakespeare English. We all need a plain English to convey our ideas. So don't worry about the jargons, the language. As long as you are able to convey your idea, your mind to, if you're a counsel, to the arbitrator, it has to be convincing, but it need not be highly decorated. That's what I would try to tell. So you need not put jargons. It can be a plain. And finally, one piece of advice: whenever you want to write, there are three things again I was told by my mentor. Tell what are you going to tell, and tell what you want to tell, and finally conclude it, say what you have told. This is the best way to communicate whatever you want to communicate. Thank you for the opportunity. Thanks. Congratulations for the winners. I would say every participant is a winner because you participated and it is going to improve your skill. Don't miss any opportunity to this thing. Yeah, okay. And I would like to thank KFCRI, and please give more opportunities, not only for the students, for everybody involved to keep writing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for being brief, sir. We have our next jury, Mr. R. Balachandran. He's basically a chartered accountant, and he's an insolvency professional and an independent director. I would like to call Mr. Balachandran to share a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Sanmudev. I must first thank KOVISE Foundation Conflict Resolution International for organizing its first essay competition among law students of various universities globally. I congratulate all the 321 participants. All of them have done well. Really, it is a difficult process job for the jury to select few among all of you. In every profession or studentship, practice is the most important thing. If you want a good speaker, you have to practice. If you want to practice, you have to speak often. If you want a good writer, you have to write often. That is so that's why even in our profession, law profession, CA profession, other profession, it is called practice, advocate practice, arbitration practice, or CA practice. Now the KFCRI has organized and designed this competition in a perfectly structured manner. As a jury, even though we were given freedom, but with 5 criteria for evaluation to select the winner, like relevance, understanding the topic, format, good references, then applying his creativity, like that. So we have done our best thing to select the winners. So I am expecting the result. No business or profession can survive if it is not in an organized manner. Likewise, arbitration also cannot be successful if it is without any if it is not with any organized institution. However, there should be no rigidity, but the organized institution should be a guiding institution. So with this, I conclude.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have our next jury member, Ms. Priya Iyengar, and she's a founding partner of Compass Law Associates, and she's also a fellow member of KFCRI, and she's a corporate lawyer and arbitrator as well. Ma'am, please, can you please share a few words?
Hello.
Ma'am, you have to unmute your mic.
Yeah. So, are you able to hear me now? Yeah.
Yes,
thank you so much, Dave and KFCRI team, for this wonderful initiative. Not only about conducting this competition, but also the entire initiative of accreditation and bringing ADR to the forefront. And you people are doing a commendable job. To all youngsters coming together and taking this initiative is commendable, and it's a very proudful moment for the ADR practitioners, because I myself, though a lawyer for the last 22 years, I'm a big fan of ADR, and I consider myself as an ADR specialist. So I always talk about this side of the resolution than the litigation side of the resolution. So I encourage, and your moment and your initiative, KFCRI, has actually given me a real fresh breather, and thanks again. And I have to especially thank Inda Vijayan for making me a part of this entire initiative. He has been my friend, mentor, guide, and teacher and everything, and I can't thank enough for including me in this. And next, about the competition. It's a wonderful competition indeed. And the subject which is need of the hour today, because everybody is caught into the confusion whether we require more or adequate regulations or regulatory body, or whatever is existing is enough. So in my opinion, even if we conduct more competition, still this question is going to be remaining unanswered. Now about the participants, all of them has done a wonderful job. And as the earlier speaker said, everybody is a winner the moment they start participating in that. So everybody has done a commendable job. They have done their thorough research, they have done their homework, and they tried to put in their best foot forward. And each entry that has come to me to evaluate has really challenged me and given tough time, and putting in all my experience and the cases I've dealt with through ADR, and use all that and leverage those expertise and evaluating them. And I went line by line and word by word, and it became very tough for me to give 1 mark here and 1 mark there. But I had to, make one person only win, though I think everybody's a winner. And they have done a wonderful job, and they have taken this forward to show what they are interested in and how can they do better by each day and each entry. My only suggestion for the participants are, the first one is, as I already said, the moment you participate and you put that paper down and you start participating, you are a winner in yourself, because it's not very easy for everybody to get into the competition first. Because I myself, miss so many competitions. Initially I see and I said, I'm going to participate in this, but I don't really have the courage, and I'm not able to put together that gut feeling to participate. So participation itself is a winning step, and thereby you have to declare yourself as a winner. And the second part, if you have not won this time, it doesn't mean you have not won. This time you're giving up an opportunity for somebody else. That's what we should think. That means you have another opportunity waiting where you can really do much better than what you have done. So as all speakers were talking, don't really feel dejected, depressed, and demotivated. Think that I have another opportunity to think better. That's first thing. And second thing, just do not focus more on the competition itself, not just getting that winning part, but also focus on the process, how you do the research, and putting that entire research material in a very logical part, like beginning, middle, and the conclusion. And the most important thing I have noticed is not paying a lot of attention to the language skills. I'm not talking about a Shakespearean or Harvard English at all, but I'm talking about the syntaxes, and I'm also talking about the grammars and punctuations. They're very, very important, because even though if you're very well prepared and you have a lot of subject matter to write a winning entry, if you don't pay attention to this kind of a smaller language nuances, the evaluator will catch that point, and that shows that you are running towards winning, but you're not really paying attention. So language and spellings are very important, because you are writing in a particular language, and that particular language has its own syntaxes and its own live breath. That breath you have to catch. If you're not putting those things there, that means the language is not given a life at all. So pay attention for that. And third thing is, always keep participating. Always keep participating. This is not the first time, and always keep participating, and pick your interest in whichever subject you are in, and do a lot of homework, read a lot of entries, read a lot of books on that, and get better at each time. And you're bound to win one day, and sometimes you'll be so bored of your own winnings that you think, enough, I've won enough. So that stage you will get one day. So don't give up. And as far as I'm concerned, whoever is the winner, everybody is a winner for me, and I can actually see in my mind screen all 350 odd participants are walking away with that memento. So all of you are winner, and I encourage all of you to win again and again and pay this attention to the smaller things. And I pray for all of you to stay safe and participate in many of these kind of competitions. Treat yourself as a winner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your humble words. And we have our next jury is Mr. Nalidhar Thirumal City, and he is one of our core committee member, and he's one of a fellow member of KFCRI as well. And he's basically an advocate based out in Madras High Court, and he's a member and as an arbitration committee of International Bar Association, and he's a member of Asia Pacific Regional Forum of IBA. So, sir, can you please brief your words?
Good afternoon, everybody over here, and I would like to thank KFCRI and Inba Vijayan sir firstly for giving an opportunity to be part of this wonderful competition. And next, I would like to thank all the management committee members of the KFCRI who have been doing the job, well coordinated job of getting all the jury members together and trying to put this competition in place. And kudos to all of you management committee members, Shahrukh, Chanmugdev, and Suvedan and Nikhila. All the four of you have really done a wonderful job. And coming to the competition part, I am really honored to be part of this competition as a jury member. And to say all the 320 participants are the winners today, because participation is a key to development of an individual. Participation is a real key. So to say one thing, for an essay, there are majorly, according to, in my opinion, there are three parts. One thing, the first thing any student has to do is to do his research well, number one. The second thing is how you are going to process the research, what you have done, and how are you going to process those information into words, and how are you going to organize those things into an essay so that it becomes a complete, these three are the most important part. And coming to the success or failure is just a process. It's a continuous process. Neither success nor failure is permanent. Today, a person who is successful cannot hold a mantle for a long period of time. Neither a person who is failure is just a jargon. The better part to say is remember this, that a person who has tasted the failures or who was lost in a competition has more time to analyze himself and try to better himself. See, the difference is every successful person or a person who has not tasted success has 24 hours, just equal amount of hours in a day. That is 24 hours a day. I have a 24 hours, you have a 24 hours. How we are going to use that 24 hours in a day, that's what determines the difference between a successful person and a failure person. And always, I would suggest one more thing to the students here. Most of the participants have done, I'd say all of the participants have done a very good job. And I would like to say one thing. In one of the papers where I've been correcting, I've just come across a student of 9th standard who has written a wonderful essay on this one, a 9th standard student. I myself have gone to had to learn a lot of things from correcting the essays actually. And to conclude, I would like to say this, that never go after success. It's a mirage. Because trust me when I say this, never go after success. Try to improve yourself on a day-to-day basis. You can never compete against, have it in mind, never compete against others. You have to compete against yourself, your own competitor. Keep this in mind, And for that, thank you, Dev and KFCRI, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be part of such a wonderful competition. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. We have our next jury member, Mr. Dinesh Gaur, and he's one of our fellow member of KFCRI, and he's a superintending engineer, and he's basically from South Asian University, New Delhi. Sir, please, can you brief few words, sir? Sir, can you hear me? Dineshwar, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, the space is here, sir. Just please brief few words, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon to everybody, and very happy to join this wonderful platform. Congress to KFCRI. We have organized a wonderful essay competition, which is so beneficial to all the participants and as the jury members as well. Now, this initiative by KFCRI is only to be welcomed in 2-3 ways. Number one, provides a great opportunity for all the participants. To me, all the participants are winners. There are clear winners, but all the participants are actual winners. The moment they decided to participate, they had a winning spirit inside. So this is what I have to say to all the participants, and I will request all of them to continue participating in whatever opportunities they get. And KFCRI would sure be providing more of it. Now, a special word of thanks to Mr. Invavision to have created such a wonderful platform, giving opportunity to all the professionals, students alike. Now, as far as arbitration is concerned, I would first tell a little about myself that I'm a working civil engineer. Now, I am a man directly from the battlefield. So, it is not that I am a person educated in law, but I am seeing the application of law into construction contracts on day-to-day basis. Hearing the arguments of the learned lawyers is a great experience, but the factual information which an engineer provides through the contract also becomes very critical. The participants please note that it is not only the legal aspects or the theoretical aspects which matter there. It is not as very well said by one of the jury members here, that it is not the declaration of your language. You have to bring in the facts in a very simple form, maybe without a jargon. So this is what is very important. Now, as regards this arbitration scenario, because I am a construction engineer, and as most of the jury members would agree, construction field provides a majority of arbitration cases. It is the field which invariably has the involvement of law and arbitration. Most of the business contracts, construction contracts end up in arbitrations because a construction contract is quite a complex field. It has so many things to be said. If you say something, you miss out something. If you miss out something, you still say something. It is a very complex maze of facts, law, and technical provisions. So it is a fascinating field. Now, the marriage of law and construction as such is again a very big field. So those who are choosing to be arbitrators or practitioners or counsels or anything will find this to be a very, very important area to work. And it is a kind of specialization, I say, insofar as we take it as a construction law. No construction, there is no construction law, but it is somewhere between the law and the engineering. So you may work on this field as a specialization course. Second thing I would like to share with all the learned jury members, especially, is that, and I would like to be enlightened on this also sometime later through them, is that you see arbitration as a part of law has a definite architecture which is common to almost all the jurisdictions across the world. The basic architecture remains the same. That arbitration is uh, an arm of law of any country. Now, yes, the ecology. Now, what matters is the ecology we create in a different country. In India, whatever I find, the arbitration ecology is leaves much to be desired. You see, that advocacy is one particular issue is advocacy in India. Arbitration, that's how the institutes like KFCRI are a very, very welcome initiative because they are the regulatory, they are the start, they are the harbingers of this regulatory mechanism, which is the big necessity of today. And one very special concept which I liked to the heart is tribunal secretary. It is something very novel, in fact, and it is a part of it plays the part of a moderator as well as the controller. And with the passage of time, an experienced tribunal secretary can be as effective as any counsel or any arbitrator and do the hybrid of these two. So this is, I congratulate KFCRI, especially on this tribunal secretary body. We would look forward to meeting, we would look forward to more interactions, and to all the participants, as I said, they are all winners. All 320 are winners actually. If not today, probably tomorrow. You are going to be the winner as long as you keep on participating. One very special thing, one jury member has said is that keep on writing. Perhaps Venkat sir said that. So that idea is really appreciated. And another jury member, yeah, and man, a wonderful thing that you keep on reading. Keep on reading. These look simple sentences, but repeat them 10 times and you would know their power. So thanks a lot to KFCRI.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. We have our next jury member. Our next jury member is Shwetan. Can you please share the file? Yeah. Our next jury member is Mr. Lakshman R. And he's basically a fellow member of KFCRI. And he's a project management professional and a risk management professional. And he's based out in LNT. So please brief a few words, sir.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dave, and good afternoon, guys. So a lot of jury members have debriefed the entire thing. So I'm very happy to be associated with the KFCRI, and I'm privileged and honored to participate here. Now, this topic given is a bit tough one because the arbitration law was amended 2019, and the topic says regulatory framework, boon or bane. So it's a bit difficult topic. I strongly believe you can't source big, materials for research. That's how, and I also found that kind of difficulty in assessing your papers. And we call something as balance of probabilities. That is the mechanism we use to judge the civil cases and arbitral cases. So which is called an edge, 1% edge over 50%. I found so difficult on your arguments, and hats off to all the participants. All the papers I received had very critical argument for and on the other side of having this regulatory setup. And it's very healthy, listening this from the students, and at your age, I don't think I would have done this definitely. Very critical arguments on both sides, actually. Having regulatory framework, not having regulatory framework, it was a wonderful thing. I also have learned a lot. And unfortunately, we got to mark the papers in a given structure, and someone who gets that 1% edge over all other persons will be the ruler today. That doesn't mean, as Nalinder pointed out, participation itself is so great, which we dare not to do. I would not have touched this topic, if I were to do. So hats off to all, and I'm so happy to be associated with KFCRI. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We have our next jury member, Mr. Kanamala Suresh Kumar, and he's one of our fellow member, and he's a chartered engineer and advocate, and he's a panel member of SFCA, ICA, and ICADR as well. And so, can you please brief a few words, sir?
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you. Very good afternoon to all the colleague jury members, and also very thankful to KFCRI for inviting me to this panel meeting in announcing the results of the online essay writing competition. I would like to say when I was first approached by KFCRI, I was a little hesitant to take up this task. What I had in my mind is whether I'll be able to do justice to this assignment or not, because I don't consider myself as an expert in the field of arbitration. In fact, I joined midway between my career into arbitration. I was basically an engineer, and I have been serving as a core engineer in public sector undertaking. Then later on, I shifted to arbitration, and it has generated a lot of personal interest in me. Then I took up law, and I have now on the panel of many institutions. And this is all due to the initiative taken by KFCRI. I'm able to interact with all of you. As regards to the online essay writing competition, I must say that the students have shown exceptionally keen interest in participating and in trying to convey what they have understood about the topic. The topic basically was whether a regulatory body in the field of arbitration, whether it is a boon or a bane. So they have made a sincere effort, but as I have gone through the scripts, I have understood that some of the students could not understand it to the extent it is required, in the sense that they have touched more upon what is litigation and what is arbitration, the history of arbitration. That's okay. You need to understand those things also. But the topic was very specific in the sense that whether a regulatory body is required or not, whether it is going to give a good results or not. On this aspect, you are supposed to give your views. But in fact, it is one of the latest topics in the coming. That is in the latest law, that is amended law only, it has been brought up. Previous arbitration acts, it was not mentioned. So it is yet to take shape in itself. So regarding such a topic, if you are asked to write, it is really a difficult job for you. I can understand that. But all of you made a good attempt. And some of you have come very close to the topic, and you have presented very well. I must congratulate all the students. And as far as KFCRI is concerned, with my brief association, I feel honored that they have given me this opportunity. KFCRI is doing excellently a good job. So participation is giving to all the members, and it is trying to promote the ADR in its own way.
Thank you.
Thank you, one and all.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So let's see the jury members who had the busy schedule, they were not unable to join us, and we have Dr. Christopher too, and he's one of the celebrating area practitioners actually. So he's chairman of the Hong Kong Institute of Directors and the past chairman of the SIAP East Asia branch, and our advisory board member Aaron Dowling Hussey. So he's one of the biggest resource person of KFCRI, and Yep, we have a FAP member, Mr. Satish Kumar K. He's a contract management expert, and he's also one of the resource person of KFCRI. And we have fellow member Vinod T. Harsingani, and he's chairman of Vision Tech Consultants, and he's an independent area practitioner. Yeah. And we have our another fellow member as of Mr. Arvamudan Aloganathan Ravindran. He's a partner of CoGlobal LLP and an independent practitioner as well. Yeah, I think these are all of our jury members. I guess you might have seen our diversified professionals acting as the jury members. I must once again thank all the jury members for their sincere dedication and for their support, because without you all, we couldn't have reached this final stage. And all the jury members have spent hours and hours in evaluating the essays line by line. And thank you all the jury members. So I think we have reached the ultimate end. It's time to open the surprise box and time for result declaration. So I call upon Mr. Inbavajian to go on with the result declaration.
Thank you, Shanmo Dev and my colleagues at the KFCRI. It is really a great honor to unveil the secret, the result. But just wait for another couple of minutes, because I have to just give some thoughts about the topic, what has been chosen and why it was chosen. The topic chosen, the regulatory, I think many people would be happy to understand and accept that we need to be regulated. Whether we are going to be a child at home, or whether we are going to be an employee, or whether we are going to be a professional, all have to be regulated. That was the general idea or general perspective available. When it comes to arbitration, whether we need to be regulated. As an arbitrator, personally, I feel that we are independent, we have to be neutral, we have to be unbiased. When we want to have all these qualities, the aspect of regulation might be a hindrance to an effective role for an arbitrator. But an arbitration is not only confined with only an arbitrator, it is also adding on with arbitration counsel, the experts, the stakeholders, the other stakeholders like parties, the witness, many are there. Considering all these, balancing practice should be there in arbitration. For that, at least in India, there is an initiative in 2019 to bring a regulatory body. That prompted us to include the topic, whether we need to have a regulatory body, and if at all, it is going to be a boom or bane. When a regulation comes, the very common term, what we accept that regulations means red tapeism. Many would accept, but red tapeism to some extent is, it has to be accepted. And coming from a country which is, we all been taught that it's a mixed economy, neither a socialist nor a capitalist. We have an adoption to consider both things combinedly together. Capitalism as well as socialism should be brought in one platform, so that we can very successfully have an economy, that too with a diversified society. With all these, the 2019, at least in India, the amendment what has been brought in has suggested to have a regulatory body. And when we come to an international perspective, the regulations is reasonably there only in the investment arbitration. The ICSID arbitration, the International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, has a reasonable level of regulations by the World Bank. The World Bank has the regulations, they maintain a panel of arbitrators, they grade the arbitrators, they even scrutinize the arbitrators after the role has been completed. Then they take the care of dealing with the awards. Entire aspects of the arbitration is reasonably regulated by the World Bank when it comes to investment arbitration at exit. Likewise, many jurisdiction is in the verge of bringing regulations. In a positive sign, regulations is going to guide the arbitration in a perfect manner. But when it comes to a negative aspect, the intervention of courts, the intervention of judiciary, in the intervention of the governments, whether it's federal governments or state governments, is going to be a bane. Both have to act balancedly. That is my small perspective about this regulatory body in arbitration. Further, not dragging with my boring lectures in the lunch. At least in India, we just have a lunch, post-lunch session. For others, it might be in the morning or it might be the evening in the Far East. I like to announce the result, and the winners, we have chosen 5. The winners, starting from the first one, Miss Suganya. Miss Suganya is from Satyabama University School of Law. It is based in Chennai. She has been chosen as the best author. We can say author. She has authored an excellent paper. Second, Charu Joshi, and the co-author is Sulugna Chatterjee. Both come from Rajiv Gandhi School of Intellectual Property Law, which is under the aegis of IIT Kharagpur. Congrats. Next, Mr. Shiv Shang Thakur, the co-author Drishi Gupta. Both represent Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Law, Navi Mumbai, attached to the University of Mumbai. Next, Miss Sonali Jain, the co-author Adesh Ramadurai. Both come from Dr. Ambedkar Government Law University, School of Excellence in Law, Chennai. The final winner is Mr. Meyyappan Kumaran. He is a master's student associated with the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University, Chennai. Congrats. On behalf of KFCRI, we are very happy to announce all these winners. Ms. Suganya, Ms. Charu Joshi, Ms. Sulugna Chatterjee, Mr. Shivshang Thakur, Ms. Drishti Gupta, the co-author, Ms. Sonali Jain, the co-author Adesh Ramadurai, as well as Mr. Meyyappan. All these, thanks KFCRI team to have this college of all the winners. Hats off. Congrats on behalf of KFCRI and behalf of all the juries. And at this point of time, I'd like to thank all the juries who are present today as well as who couldn't make it up, from Dr. Natali from Lebanon, Mr. Anish Wadia from Bombay, Mr. Venkatraman Ramadurai, both in India and Dubai, Mr. Balachandar from Chennai, Ms. Priya Iyengar from Hyderabad, Mr. Nallidhar, part and parcel of KFCRI, and my good friend, Mr. Dineshwar Gar, my old friend from Delhi, and an engineer, a prospective arbitrator, technical arbitrator, Mr. Lakshman, part of KFCRI, and a very interesting personality in contracts and arbitration, Mr. Suresh Kumar. Welcome, sir. This is the first occasion I could interact with you. And the other jury members who couldn't make it up today, Mr. Christopher Tu, the advisory board member, Mr. Aaron, advisory board, both coming from Hong Kong and Ireland, Mr. Satish Kumar, I think if I am not wrong, he's from Hyderabad, an engineer basically, Mr. Vinod Hari Singhania, an engineer in Bombay, and as well as the Mumbai chapter president of the Indian Institution of Technical Arbitrators, a prominent body of technical arbitrators, and our team member, Mr. Raghav, Aramudan Ulaganathan Ravindran. Unfortunately, he couldn't join. He is stuck in the Mumbai airport. He is on his way to Canada. Thank you. Thank you all the jury members. And without you people, we couldn't make it so successful. And we also thank all the participants. All the participants are the winners. It is not confined only with the people who have just announced. The people who have registered, who have made the submissions, reasonable time they have made submission, the efforts what they have made, the research, what they have done. Forget about the language. As rightly pointed out by various juries, the language doesn't matter. To some extent, it is all the 3 C's. If we ask the bureaucrats, they will be afraid of all the 3 C's. But as a participant in an essay competition, all the 3 C's, what has been taught, how to draft, keep on writing, keep on writing. The research, what we are doing, is going to be reflected out of this paper. Congrats to all the participants. All the participants are winners. And with this few words, I thank on behalf of KFCRI, the juries as well as the participants for taking their valuable time during the pandemic. That is very important. This pandemic has been taken, what you can say, a ride on all of us, whether lawyers or engineers, students, anyone had just gone the catastrophe. But within this reasonable period, the valuable time what you have dedicated for drafting the essay as well as judging this competition is made us, what you can say, the words, we can't just come with a good word. Wholehearted thank to all. Now, Dave.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I congratulate all the winners and the participants as well. And I'm very, I apologize and I'm very sorry for delaying this meeting. And for a bit of logistics, all the certificate of participation and certificate of excellence will be mailed individually to you very soon. So I once again thank all the jury members and the participants for making this competition a huge success. And I want to thank the members of the managing committee and the operation committee members who is working behind the wheel tirelessly. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, all.